Moving on, we have the proposed zoning ordinance, which we had a public hearing on the other night. That was even better than a town meeting. We had a couple comments that came, they're highlighted on the thing Mary sent out, that came from Tom Lane. I did say the other night at the public hearing that, you know, it's in our purview, if we wanted to send it back to the zoning board to make changes that may have been suggested the other night, we could certainly do that.
So we can't make changes, it has to come from them?
We can suggest it.
We can, and then we can, any changes would have to go back to a public hearing at this point, so.
Well, I think Thori had a...
with the 10-day, with the certified
yeah, I would do
mail.
the 30 days, I would do a calendar month, but I think he was looking for a 30-day response time of 30 business days. That's way too long. People
6 weeks.
People who are in violation know. And I believe the point of this is just to light a fuse and get people to act on violation.
Well, a lot of it is
rather than to persecute.
Right now, the only avenue is eventually you end up in court. At least this gives us the avenue of bringing it to a local appeal before you end up in court. You assess fines, and they dispute the fine, they come and they appeal it.
But like as to Kim's point, if you say you're a landlord and you might spend 6 months in Florida or whatever, and you own a building up here, you might not know about, you know, like you're saying, Carol, you know if you're, well, they might not know. You know, so I think 30 days would be a better thing. Plus, I think
30 calendar days, though.
Yeah, no,
not business. No, I would do the calendar days.
Calendar days, but also I think, and I don't know how to word it or how it would be, but like, I think it should be the person doing the violation, not the landlord.
You can't state statute.
Because state statute
It goes on the owner.
It's always on the owner.
Always on the property owner.
You can certainly issue the notice to the tenant, but I'm not even sure if we could actually go after the tenant without going after.
It's like if somebody's driving your car and they get in an accident and it's your car, whose insurance is paying for it?
Yeah, but say you get a
You own the
ticket.
car.
But say you're driving my car and you get a speeding ticket, you pay
That goes on your license, but
the guy driving
it's
gets
the
the
property
ticket.
owner that gets nailed for this.
Yeah, but zoning regulations are the state regs really put the onus on the property owner, and I mean I think even the suggestion here it says or who maintains, I think it should be and or who maintains, because I don't know that you can just go after, if you do an or, that's allowing the town to just say to the tenant.
One or the
now,
other.
now you're right, and I think it needs to be and or if they're going to make that change. But I think ultimately it's going to fall on, it is going to fall on the property owner. And I do know that when town issues a notice of violation now, he sends it to the owner of the property and he CCs the tenant, or sends it to both. I know because I had to have my sign permit done. So when it was sent to the owner of our building. So I think by statute, to make this process legal, it needs to go, the owner is the one that's ultimately responsible. And you know what, the 30 days is plenty of time by the time the certified mail gets back and forth and signed for the property owner under a lease. Most commercial leases say if you're in violation of the regulations, you're out. So the owner is going to have the ability to...
And you know how difficult that is, though.
I do know how difficult that is, but you know,
Well, you know what, but you have to, at that point, communication and, you know, everything's broken down between the tenant and the owner at that point anyway. There isn't going to be, I mean, my guess would be that there isn't going to be any, you know, resolution and working together and all that.
But the problem is the owner is paying that ticket every day.
Well, I know, but that's the point, is to light that fire.
I understand, but the owner probably wants to get it resolved.
Yeah,
But you got the,
I know, I've been in that situation.
But if
believe me.
if there's an ongoing violation that will not get resolved, and the property owner starts a summary process action, say to get the tenant out, then that notice to quit for that person to leave under the lease then severs that tie between the tenant and the owner, and now by virtue of just severing the lease, now the violation arguably goes away unless it's something physical that the property owner will ultimately
which you
use.
can't remove as an owner.
If it's a use and you sever the lease, now the use is gone. So then the owner can say, I've done what I need to do, I've told this person they're out, and I've started the process legally to do it. I don't think that the town is going to continue the process if the owner's taking the the steps to get that person
You
out.
don't think, I mean, should it, is
Well,
that
I'm
something
just
that should
saying
be
that
outlined in
it might
there?
not, this could be 20 years down the road when Tom's not here or somebody that might
Ultimately,
be
with the
different.
town, it comes down to being responsibility of the property owner. And
Right.
if
You own a piece of property, you're
commercial
responsible.
property or residential property, I mean, if you're a landlord, you have the responsibility of making sure that whoever's in that property is following the regulations of the town. And I don't think legally Tom can just go after the tenant. I don't know the answer to that.
It's, no, it's per state
Joyce,
statute.
you might be able to answer that, but I think it's just state statute that it's the owner.
So you wanna send it back to the zoning board?
Just, so for those two changes, so 30 calendar days?
30, certified mail, which is what was
Yep.
brought up.
And what do you do if they refuse the letter?
What Tom usually does is he notes on the top of the letter via certified and regular mail.
Right.
And so then if you send it certified and regular and then you
State statute says if it's sent regular mail, you
Yeah.
have, the clock starts as soon as it was mailed, regardless if it's
But the
certified or
30
not.
calendar day will also take into
Right.
account, sometimes it takes 3 shots to get it delivered.
Mhm.
But usually when he sends it, it says via certified return receipt and regular mail, and he sends it both.
Mhm.
And if they refuse it, then I think you can assume that they got it.
Well, you better get some sort of receipt if you're gonna put it in regular mail. Because
Well,
that puts
regular
you
mail,
in the
you can do
situation that we
delivery
have going on right
You
now.
can do a delivery receipt when you do regular mail, but you'd send a regular copy, regular
And
mail,
certified.
and certified, delivery notifications. I mean, there's not much of it.
Listen, if they're in
Carol, if they
violation,
know
they
they're
know
in
they're in
violation,
violation,
they know
they're
they're gonna
gonna,
refuse
they're
it.
gonna refuse it.
And they're going to say, I never
The only
received
other way to
the
do
letter in
it
the
is
regular
to
mail.
serve it with Marshall, that's the only other way to do it.
Right.
And
Which
we
again-
don't have to do that by state statute.
Right.
We don't even
You
have to
don't
do
have
certified
to do
mail by
that.
state statute.
Mm.
Not unless a lawsuit is commenced, do you have to do a Marshall. So, I mean, I would put the certified return receipt in it. See, he says sent by regular mail and certified return receipt, that's normally what he does.
Right.
Who wrote this, Royson?
Well, I'm assuming Royston reviewed
He
it.
reviewed it.
Most of this is really just a reiteration of the state statutes. You know, what the planning and zoning commission can do under the state statute. So the comment on the first page, where it says or who maintains, I
And or.
think it's an and or, I don't think it's an or.
I wrote that down, and or.
Where's that?
And I'm okay with 30 days as long as it's calendar days, because otherwise you're into 6 weeks and that's just too long.
Wait, John, go back here.
Those are really the only 2 comments we got, right?
Right here.
Yeah, violation, yeah.
And or who maintains. Okay. So we motion to send it back to the zoning board?
I'll make it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? None abstention, motion carries.
Very good.
So we
All right.
have another public hearing?
Well, they have to submit back to us with the changes and then we gotta go to public hearing.
No.
All right,